Hey, so I know you haven't seen a video posted on my channel in a little while. I did actually create a video like a week ago that I posted for a couple of days. If you subscribe to my channel, you probably saw it if you saw it within a day of it being posted. I probably should have marked that it was limited time only. It wasn't supposed to be, it was just something that I was kind of having fun doing. It was related to consulting, but it was a little more jazzed up. But then I took it down because I thought I should probably think about it before I post it for a long term. It might be a little too fun and not informative enough for what I'm going for on this channel. But I probably will post it because it did take me a long time to make, and it's kind of a waste not to post it. So at some point. But today, I thought I would talk about interviewing because I know that I started that series and hadn't really finished it. And I'm about to go out, so I thought I'd kind of make this quick. So I know that I have two videos that I'm going to make interview related to kind of fit in the series. The first one is how to structure your interview questions so that you show off that you've actually done your research and you impress your interviewer, that kind of thing. And then the next one, which will be my next video, not this one, is going to talk about the questions that you'll be asked in a behavioral interview. Fortunately, after my consulting behavioral interview, I wrote down all my questions and all the answers that I put are the ones that I could remember, in hopes that it would be useful in a future interview for a future position, which it was very helpful. So I thought I would share some of those questions with you guys and then also talk about the answers that I gave using my personal experience so that you can see how deep of the questions they ask are. That was not grammatically correct. But basically how they kind of pick up on a couple of little things that you say in the interview and then ask you deeper and deeper questions so that they know that you're actually talking about your real experience and not making it up as you go. So I'll talk about that in my next video. But for now, I'm going to talk about how to formulate your questions so that you show off and you have the most impact. Because you do want to show that you've done your research, you do want to impress your interviewer, you do want to, basically show off. So in order to best explain or show you the structure of how to show off and ask a question at the same time, I'm going to use an example that should be pretty easy for anybody to do because information is going to be out there in the internet, and so this is something that you could do your research on. So in consulting firms, one of the options that they have is they have international rotations in most cases, and that's where you can basically, even if you work in the US and you want to go do an international rotation, you can go to a different country for 6 months or a year and basically work in their office over there doing their kinds of projects with their kinds of clients. So you could use that in your interview. For example, I would say, so I know that you guys have an international rotation program, and that's something that I'm kind of interested in, something that I would like to consider in the future. What are your views on that? So another thing that consulting firms generally tend to have is a mentoring program, and if they have one, they take it very seriously. So that's another question that you can ask. Can say, I know that you guys have a mentoring program and that's something that I'm really interested in participating in. How big is that to your organization? How many people actually have a mentor? How many mentors are there? And I just kind of want to get a feel for, what the mentoring program, what kind of role the mentoring program takes in your company. So looking at those two examples of questions that I asked, I want to go through the structure of what I was doing in order to show off and ask a question at the same time. The first part of it is, of course, do your research. The second part is when you're asking the question or showing off, you basically put in what you already know and what is kind of a safe question. So, for example, if you were going to do one with culture, you wouldn't say, hey, I know you guys do lots of happy hours, I really like that. What do you think? Well, that format, that structure is correct. That is not really a safe question. You don't really want to bring alcohol into the picture too much. Even if you've hit that point where your interviewer is talking about random stuff and they're starting to talk about alcohol, you don't want to showcase that too much because you're not in the door yet, and that's something you can talk about once you're in the door because, yes, consultants do drink a lot, which is what my last video was. That is no longer posted. But basically you want to do this with a safe question. So mentoring, international programs, even asking them what they do for fun, just don't mention drinking, those are safe questions. So the structure that was used is basically first do your research, like I said before, and then you want to lay in what you already know. So you know that there's an international rotation program because you did your research. And when you say that you know that and you're confident that you know that, that shows them that, hey, she actually knows we have an international rotation program. Maybe they don't deal with that on the day-to-day basis. And so that's fine, but it'll show them that you actually know something, maybe even a little more than they do about their own company. And that's usually a good thing. The mentoring program, that is a very big thing in consulting firms. So if you mention that you know that and that's something that you're interested in, that's kudos for you. So mention what you already know. And then the part where you're asking a question, where you're kind of dampening the showing off effect and not acting like a bit of a smartass really, is where you say, what's your opinion on that? Or how do you view the culture, if we went back to the culture question? Or in the 2 examples that I gave previously, what's the international rotation program, and is that something that a lot of people participate in? Is that something that you've ever done before? Is that something that I might have the ability to do at some point? That's something that I would like to do. I would like to get more cultural experience. How does the company value that program? Or in the mentoring program, what kind of a role does the mentorship program take in the company? Is it big? Is it small? Is it something that needs to be developed? If it is, and say, you know, that's something that I would be really interested in developing, and they would like that too, because that shows them that you're already thinking about how you can improve their company. So that's my advice on how to be a smartass in an interview without actually seeming like a smartass in an interview and actually impressing your interviewer versus kind of turning them off of you as a candidate. If you need any clarification on anything that I just said, let me know. I'd be happy to create a video and slow things down a little. I know I gotta go run off to dinner and getting drunk. I'm already like 10 minutes late. So, yeah, I will follow up with my next interview video in my next video. Alright, talk to you later. Bye.